How hard is it to trust someone once you've been let down? Hey, I'm Dylan, and you're listening to Unlocked, your daily key to unlocking God's Word in your life. When people break our trust, it can change the way we hear every promise after that, even God's. Sometimes His words sound too good to be true because we're just used to disappointment. Today's Devo reminds us that God is not like us. When He makes a promise, He keeps it. And we'll see that today in I Promise by Susan Grant. Have you ever trusted a friend and then found out they were not trustworthy? Maybe you confided in them, spilling your guts about something personal. And even though your friend promised to keep it to themselves, they didn't. Or maybe you've been an untrustworthy friend of someone else. When someone has broken the trust of another, it's a serious problem. It can damage and even destroy relationships. Some people never get over the hurt broken trust has brought them. Another lamentable consequence of broken trust is that we tend to view our relationship with God like we view our relationships with friends and family members who have mistreated us. Because people have broken our trust and we've broken theirs, we think maybe God is the same way. In Genesis 18, God promised Abraham and Sarah that they would become parents, but Sarah laughed when she heard this. After all, Sarah was 90 and Abraham was 100. Perhaps Sarah thought he meant well, but he would probably turn out to be like some of her friends who just wanted to comfort her or say the right thing, but ultimately weren't reliable. Yet, in verse 14, God makes it clear He keeps His promises. Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son. A year later, guess who had a son? We live in a broken world where people let us down, but thankfully we can learn to separate how people sometimes act from how God always acts. God's promises may seem too good to be true, but 2 Corinthians 1:20 says that all His promises are fulfilled in Jesus. Even His promise to create life from Sarah's dead womb points forward to His promise to raise Jesus from the dead, and then to raise all His people from the dead when Jesus returns. Read about that in 1 Thessalonians 4:13-18. Through Jesus' death and resurrection, we can be in relationship with God. And as we get to know Jesus, we find that God is always trustworthy, and we can count on Him. So what are some questions you've got? Why is trust so important in relationships? In what ways have people broken your trust? How have you broken others' trust? Consider taking some time to bring these things to Jesus. In His trustworthy love, we find healing and wholeness. Now, as you and I can read in Numbers 23:19, God is not human that He should lie, not a human being that He should change His mind. Does He speak and then not act? Does He promise and not fulfill? And then dive into God's Word for more in Genesis 18:1-15, then chapter 21, verses 1-3, and Hebrews 11:11 to keep God's Word alive in your life. Unlocked is a resource from Keys for Kids Ministries, and one of our resources for you is our library of topic-specific reading plans. We're still building up more plans right now, but if you've ever been curious about the 10 Commandments, how it's the foundation of the Jewish law, and how it applies to us as Christians today, then check out our reading plan about them. You can find all of them in the Unlocked app. Just scroll down on the homepage until you find the reading plans option. If you don't already have the Unlocked app, then search for Unlocked Teen Devotions in your app store. And come back for tomorrow's devotion with me. If you feel a little self-righteous about the good things you do, it might just bring you back to earth just a little bit. But until then, I'm Dylan, encouraging you to live life unlocked, opening the door to God in your life.